already this morning? All right, there we go. It says I'm live and it looks like everything's working. Let's go check the audio real quick. Okay, audio looks good, so we won't delay here. Good morning, everybody. As always, thanks for stopping by the channel and hanging out for a few. My name is Rich Charpentier. Normally, we do a lot of drone talk and some tech talk and some autonomous flight talk, and also we talk about building your small drone business. So I'm doing an impromptu live stream again. I'm really enjoying these and taking advantage of how the live streams work, because it gives me a good reason for not editing after it. Sorry, kidding around. But no, it does make for a quicker presentation format, so I have been having fun with the live streams. And today's title, this is not clickbait or anything. By the way, if I'm looking over on the right-hand side, I'm just double checking to make sure I'm not missing anybody's comments. I really do have to set up the comments somehow in OBS so that other folks can see them as well. When you're watching this in replay, if you're watching the recorded version of this, then you should be able to see the live chat as well. So once again, not clickbait today. Another good reason to not steal photos, other than the fact that that's just not nice. So I've been doing photography for over a decade. Copyright is very important to me. From 2008 to 2012, I was involved with a gallery here in Prescott, Arizona, and resold my photos, prints. We also did portrait sessions for people, shot some weddings. So, you know, photography, copyright was very important to me because I was trying to earn a living with the photography, right? So, you want to get paid, and they are your intellectual property. Now, there's a lot of things going on with fair use these days where you can use snippets of things like here on Google or on YouTube, and that's okay. Everyone seems all right with that. But, you know, if you're just blatantly ripping off someone's photos and putting it, let's say, on your own business website, if you're trying to make a commercial profit and you're using other people's copyrighted material, well, that's not cool at all. I'm not happy about that, and most photographers aren't happy about that because they do need to get paid for their work as well. So, you know, you just shouldn't be taking other people's images. You know, I've come across people over the years who have taken some of my images using them on their own websites. I've contacted them, I've asked them to desist, or I've offered to them a licensing fee as well. And because I do put my time and effort into it, and there's a lot of capital investment as well. And so there you go. I've had people over the years who have also licensed images for me from me for magazines or for their businesses. So I make money through photography at times. And, you know, with the drone business, you're doing aerial photography, right? So copyright should be important to you as well. And you should avoid taking other people's stuff, period. As you're building your own website, for instance, I've had students on some of my classes ask me about utilizing some of my content for initial presentations with potential clients for them. And, you know, I've said to them, well, get in touch with me and we'll talk about it. And then I've told them what I'd be willing to help with and what they shouldn't be copying. Like one thing, don't copy all of my written text on my websites. I've written that text in such a way for search engine optimization. And if you copy me exactly, now I'm going to be losing some ground in the search engine optimization world because you copied me word for word. So I've talked to a couple other drone operators and, you know, said to them, here's what I'll let you use. Here's what I'd like you to stay away from borrowing. And so they've all been respectful and followed my requests. That's super awesome. So thanks to all of you. And I know some of you watch the videos here, so I do appreciate your honesty. Do you ever register your copyright work? Roseanne, the moment that you've shot it, the moment that you've pulled that image out, that's your copyright. That's your intellectual property. You could go through and register things, but you know, with your EXIF data and your import data and everything, you can very easily prove where the image was taken, especially now with GPS built into a lot of the cameras as well. So it's very simple to prove where the originating image comes from. And there are services on the web. I remember I used to use one when I was in the gallery business called TinEye. It was Tineye. And, let's skip past this. Tin Eye. Yeah, there we go. Tin Eye photo search. So you can actually use this Tin Eye website, and they've got a plugin for your browser as well, so that you can take a look at an image on another website, and it's going to tell you where that originated. That's how I found some folks back in the day who were violating my copyright. Most of them took the images down. A couple of them paid for licensing. So, the moment that you produce your intellectual content, it is your copyright, and you can put notifications on your website as to how people can use your images, and where you'd allow images to be used for fair use. I use Dreamtime. I've actually sold images on Dreamtime for years, and when I need images, I will go to Dreamtime and license images. For instance, the screen that you see me on here right now down in the lower left-hand corner, that background image I licensed from Dreamtime. I actually licensed a series of images from Dreamtime and a specific photographer whose interior building shots I really liked. So I found them on Dreamtime and I licensed them, and that's fantastic. And I also found some nice free ones as well. So this background that you're looking at here, with me with this little, brick building here, that's a paid for license, and I actually paid for multiple licenses from that particular photographer because it was good work. But so I'm always respectful of other people's copyright, and with a lot of these stock services at this point, you can get some very reasonable prices for images. Dreamtime, Shutterfly, or Shutterstock. There's so many different companies that are helping smaller photographers license their images, make a little money off of their images. So I always recommend, if you need some images that you haven't captured yourself, check out Dreamtime, check out Shutterstock, and all the rest. There's a ton of them out there. And you're welcome, Roseanne. So now, like I said, this one wasn't clickbait. I had the heart attack moment this morning. So, and that heart attack moment, let's go back to my preview. So this is one of my other simple iPhone photos from a beautiful location in Prescott a couple of years ago. Just a fun little quickie, but I've actually had people ask about some of the series that I did, licensing those. So this morning I got up bright and early because I'm always up way too early. And in addition to the drone work and the photography work, we work with multiple clients on their online presence, on their websites. So we monitor a lot of websites. Some of the clients actually have us do annual maintenance for them. So every month we're doing work for them. Every week we're doing work for them. And some of our other clients actually do their own maintenance, so they keep up with additions to their websites. They're checking their own security, and we do very little except on an hourly basis for them. And this morning I got a notification through a WordPress app that I use on my iPhone, that a comment had been made for one of my clients who doesn't do the ongoing maintenance with us. So, but I always check these things, and this one just, heart hit my throat for a minute, because it sounded like my customer was violating somebody's copyright. So they got a contact on their contact form, and I'm not going to pop this up on screen, but in the end, this particular contact scared me at first, but then I quickly found out that the contact was a scam. And it's a scam that's actually known right now, and so people have been talking about it. Because there was a couple of clues for me. The English wasn't great, there was some strange punctuations, a couple of things that kind of click in my head, this might be a scam. But I was concerned because, some of my clients who don't do regular maintenance with me don't understand the concept that everything on the internet is not free. Just because there's an image on the internet doesn't mean it's free for you to copy and use for your own purposes. The people who generate these images or these videos, they're the copyright holders, and you need to find out whether or not they're okay with you utilizing their stuff. And like I said, there are services out there where you can license things really reasonably priced. So there's no real reason to steal the photos. But so I want to read this to you because it like I said, it was that heart and throat moment for a minute there. So it says, "Hi, this is Melinda, and I'm a licensed photographer." I'm a photographer too, but I don't, I've got a business license, but a licensed photographer. I'm wondering if I've got to go to the DMV for photographers and take my photo course or my photo test. I was puzzled, frankly speaking, when I came across my images at your website. Hey, I've had that feeling before. When I've found people utilizing my images, it upset me a bit. So this sounds legitimate to me so far because I'm like, I got a little ticked off here and there. If you use a copyrighted image without my consent, you must be aware that you could be sued by the copyright holder. Yeah, copyright holders can actually go after folks. And I've seen some pretty interesting ones where people have walked away with a couple $1,000s per image. It takes time, and sometimes you actually have to employ a lawyer. So, if you're violating somebody's copyright, best thing to do is take it down, or also contact them and offer to pay a licensing fee. Because if their photo is that good and it's helping you sell your product, shouldn't the person who made that photo get paid for helping you make an income? Yeah, probably. All right. So it's unlawful to use stolen images, and it's so filthy. Wow, I've reacted sometimes to stolen images. I didn't go with filthy, but all right. So take a look at this document with the links to my images you used on your website. So they gave the website name and my earlier publications to obtain evidence of my copyrights. Download it now and check this out for yourself. So below that sentence, they've got a link to a Google Docs site. Okay, so they're wanting you to download and open their Google Doc. This is where it triggered it for me that, hey, this might not be legit. And, they might be fraudulent in this contact. So they include this link where you're going to have to download a Google Doc or something. You can't quite tell what it is. The link gets really concerning. What platforms do you use to sell or license your work? So one of the big ones, Roseanne, that I personally use, I do stock photography for dreamstime.com. They've been around for quite a while, and it's not huge money on it. I also use Shutterstock, and let's see a couple others. Let's pull this one back up here. Is this so for video? I've been using Black Box as well, and we've got a couple others on my Firefox, I think. So I've been submitting videos to some of these resellers now. So okay, we've also used Storyblocks and Pond5 and Shutterstock, and of course Dreamstime that I had mentioned earlier. So you got to go through and read, what they offer to you as a creator, what your percentages are, how many images you have to have approved before you can start reselling with them. So they actually have a process where they evaluate your images, and then they let you know, of these 20 that you sent to us, we're going to approve these 10, and you can start working with us. Oh, hey, good morning, Ray. They also tried the scam with music on the YouTube videos, even if you get it from royalty-free sites. Yeah, absolutely, Ray. When I do background music on my videos, I actually have a yearly contract with let me see, Soundstripe.com. Took me a minute there, but I love the selection on Soundstripe.com. Their pricing is reasonable, and I've even had people try to get me on a copyright violation using a Soundstripe file where I even have the link to the Soundstripe audio, and it's some other third party not associated with Soundstripe trying to cash in. So there's a lot of that going on. But so anyways, this one, the reason it concerned me, was because this is a client of mine who I don't do regular maintenance for, and they are doing their updates regularly. So my first thought was, oh no, what did they do? And so before I did anything else, I gave them a call, and they were aware. So they're on the East Coast. So me calling them at 6 a.m., it's 9 a.m. their time. So they were perfectly happy to hear from me. But I said, have you been borrowing anybody else's photos? And the vice president of this group said, absolutely not. We're not taking anybody's photos. And she also said to me, most of the new images she's been shooting. And several years ago, we went out to their location, And we actually did imaging and video for them when we were on location and building their new website. So they had a lot of our content and their own content, but she was absolutely adamant that she had not grabbed anybody's images. So I continued on, and what I did next was my fun part. I said, let's see if anybody else is talking about this stuff. So I just did a quick search with this fake copyright holder's name, and I just inserted the first part of their email. So I typed in, "This is Melinda and I am," and Google filled it in for me right away. My video editing class is discussing just this topic right now. Awesome. Well, so Roseanne, if you want, you can also drop a private message on here after, or you can send me an email from my website, azdrone.net. And if you drop an email, I can send you a list of the folks that I sell through if you want to check them all out. So that way it's not off the cuff, and I can actually write a list of who I'm using, why I like them, and what I don't like. So I do video on some places, I do still photos on other places. And hey, it's a little extra pocket change every month. So if you submit a lot of images or a lot of videos to companies that, you've got some really quality stuff, you can absolutely build a living, but it takes a while to step up on that. So anyways, I just typed in a little bit of, "This is Melinda and I'm a licensed photographer." And immediately it filled it in for me. And there's a couple of different websites with something about this. So, phishing advisory, beware of fake email from a professional photographer claiming copyright infringement. Now, like I said before, this made me a little nervous for my client. I was going to scold them. And when they said, absolutely not, we haven't been borrowing anything from anywhere, I decided to go search a little bit more, and searching yielded some results. So once again, this person sends along a link. They want you to click that link because that's when they've got you. So now I'm going to set this one down, and they go on and they say, if you don't delete images in the next few days, I'll write a complaint to you on your hosting provider. And if that doesn't work, you'll be pretty damn sure I'm going to report you and sue you. So that does sound scary. So from the perspective of a website owner, to get some kind of notification like that in your comments could scare you. So the best case scenario for you is to use your own images or use images you're licensing. So there you go. So that's why I titled this "Another Good Reason to Not Steal Photos." So, if you're building your business, good grief, you have to pay for all the parts of your business, so you should pay for the images or video that you're using if it's not produced by you or produced by somebody employed by you. If you're using a third-party stuff because you believe it's going to attract new customers, then shouldn't you pay the people who helped you get those customers there? Yeah, you should. So, I'm fully in favor of copyright. It's my intellectual property, and I want to be paid for my time. I also understand fair use and how that's viewed. But this person is playing on your fears, and the biggest reason why it would be a fear is because you're not sure if you did something right or you did something wrong. With all of my websites, the images are produced by me, the video is produced by me. So, in places where we link to other YouTube content, showing off areas and things, we fully credit the creators of that, and those creators also allow people to embed. So, I know that I'm good on my websites, and I know that most of my clients are good on their websites because I'm overseeing everything for them, and so I don't have to worry about it. But my clients who do self-management, and they go out on the internet and they go, "Oh, hey, I really like this image of this place. I'm just going to borrow it off of your website and pop it on my website." That's where my concern comes in. I wouldn't be liable for it because I'm not maintaining it for them, but I still care about what happens to those folks, even if they're not having us do the regular maintenance activity. So yeah, this woke me up quick. This woke me up faster than a cup of coffee. So they say right away, phishing alert, do not click on that link. This is a classic phishing scheme. The malicious actor wants the unsuspecting victim who receives the email to click on that link to go to the Google Drive. And that was one of my thoughts when I first read it. You could have listed the photos. You could have just written those in the comment. So you didn't need to make a Google Doc for me unless you really, really wanted me to click on that Google Doc for some reason, right? So, when I have contacted people who violated my copyright, I tell them, it's this image name, it's appearing on this page of your website. I'm not hiding anything in a document from them. I list it right in the body of the email or the comment. So I'm not asking you to download something. So that was one of the first things that really kicked off the Spidey sense, I suppose. So they want you to go to this Google Drive, and it can actually nail your device. So there it is. Update on June 29th. So it's confirmed that it's also targeting WordPress websites now. And, so this one came in 6 hours ago. So last night, this one came into my client's website. So the malicious actors pretending to be a professional photographer or licensed photographer going by the name of Mel or Melinda. In the case of this one that I got, it was Melinda with a Y instead of an I. But it was good enough to come right up. And yeah, 718 area code. Once the recipient clicks the link, they'll go to a download that allows the hacker to seize control of the user's device. That sounds like fun, right? Have someone seize control. Okay, sorry about that. I forgot that I had left my my notifications on, so thanks, Cherie. I was asking a friend a question about some real estate this morning. So anyways, they want you to click that because they want to get your device. And so here's a sample of the email, which looked really similar to the one that I saw on my customer site this morning. This is Melinda, and I'm a licensed photographer. And then everything else just reads the same. So this is definitely a scam. And so they were hitting another platform first before WordPress, okay? So this was going on with one other web development. Oh, there we go. So specifically targeting iPlasma CMS2 website administrators. But as of June 29th, it's now hitting WordPress. And, I just saw this instance last night of one coming in for one of my clients. So I'll be on the watch out for my other customers. So the big takeaway, if someone's asking you to click a link and download a link, that's when it's getting a little sketchy. Unless you know them, I wouldn't be clicking that link either. Also, just a little bit of the wording and the punctuation had me concerned as well. And I do know my client very well and know that they most likely wouldn't be popping up a bunch of other stuff because they're actually a nonprofit organization promoting this outdoor recreation area. So the images that they're going to be doing are all from that area and usually shot by, the staff there or sometimes visitors there who put their stuff onto Instagram and allow for that Instagram feed to come up on their website. So we've got two different messages that sound the same. So the biggest way to avoid getting scared by something like this is knowing that you've got all your licenses and that you've been doing the right thing. So there it is. It's that simple to avoid getting a contact from somebody. And you can use services. So I'm just popping over here. You can use services like TinEye, reverse image search, and it does a good job. It helped me track down several people between 2008 and 2012. And, that's when I was selling prints and canvases. And, so those images that I was doing were part of how I made a living. So, to think, hey, I can just grab that off of this guy's website and use it on my own site. No, not unless I give you permission. You can't. And with that, I'm going to close this one down. So I just wanted to do this as a live stream today because, I think there's some urgency to it, especially if you are running websites at the moment. You do want to make sure that you're legal and legit. So I'm just pulling up one of my old Route 66 ones. So this was a fun favorite one that I sold a lot of in smaller prints and medium prints. And this was during my heavy fun HDR period. So I think this was, 2011. There we go on that one. But so I did a lot on Route 66 and White Pocket and the Vermilion Cliffs National Monument. Some very unique places that more photos are out there today. More photographers have gotten to some of those places, but I was one of the early folks. So I was having a lot of fun out there. And, this was sometimes the overcooked HDRs, and I've since toned it way back, but when HDR was first starting out and hip and cool only with a select group. So very simple HDR, but that is how the Dells looked that day. Gorgeous location sometimes. So we had, a lot of interesting images over the years. Some of those images are still resold on other locations. And we did a lot of fun portrait stuff over the years. One of my favorites was a series that we did in the newly renovated Elks Theater in Prescott. So we had a couple who they're involved with the Elks Theater, and we wanted to do some portraits. So we were doing 1 and 2 light portraits in the newly renovated Elks Theater. That was so much fun. And some of these things I just put up on my website as examples, and then using that TinEye, I found that, hey, somebody else was using my images or reselling my images. It was not great stuff. Gets a little discouraging when you see somebody profiting off of your work and not crediting you or anything. So yeah, over the years, we'd done a lot of interesting shoots. We did a lot of different things for a couple of local bands. I'm just looking through here. So this was one of my sales galleries. And we also did things for publication as well. So a good friend of ours and model was doing something for one of our Airstream shoots. And we even had our Pelicans in there. So we did find images popping up in places where they shouldn't be. Here's another one from one of the bands. We did the Vulture Mine Ghost Town. Had some really fun photo shoots down there, and we were only using speed lights in the case of this shoot to see if we could use the speed lights. Whoops. And then, a lot of different neat stuff over the years. And so my copyright was very important to me, still is very important to me. This is, I call it Snail Rock. This is a place in White Pocket in the Vermilion Cliffs National Monument. So we had, we had some really fun shoots in some very, very unique locations. So some crazy over-the-top HDR stuff and just some standard run-of-the-mill photography as well. And whatever the photography is, I'm always concerned, about my copyright and that, I'm being compensated for the work I do. This was actually a by request photo. I had a customer come in with a very specific request. Her husband loved this particular location. And strangely enough, this turned into one of my best sellers for like a year and a half. But we did a nice canvas for her husband as I think it was a wedding anniversary present. And then some super over-the-top HDR stuff. Gosh, some of this makes me cringe now. I did have some fun with a taxi down in Bisbee, Arizona. So that was a good bit of fun and highly stylized. So my style has evolved over time, and also, how I shoot has evolved over time with the drone now and the other work that we're doing. And if you can't tell, a lot of portrait sessions for a very specific job we were doing years ago. And, then just some other fun photos and some just total goof photos as well. But no matter what these are, the fun photos, the total goofs, or the ones for sale, my copyright's still important to me. And I don't mind people doing things fair use at all. But so to be fully confident and not worry about ever getting a copyright claim, make sure what you're putting up on your website and that you're not violating other people's copyright. And if there's an image out there that you want to use, you should get in touch with the photographer. So years ago, AAA, their AAA magazine for Arizona, got in touch with me because they had come across a couple of my images that they really liked. And they wanted to use them in a couple of their editions, actually. So we had a winter one and a spring one. So they dropped a line to me. I was super flattered that, they came across my images. And I said, absolutely, we can work out a licensing fee. And we're going to make it a reasonable licensing fee because you guys were honest enough to get in touch with me and offer to license my images. And that's how it should work, right? So for most people, on this channel, I know that you're content producers as well, and that copyright is most likely important to you as well. So most likely you're not going to be ever seeing an email that says, hey, you're doing something wrong and we're going to come after you. So most likely you're following copyright guidelines and you're doing the right things. But if you haven't been and you get an email like that, it could really scare you. And then the question is it a scammer? Is it for real? How do I address this? I can say one thing: if you get something where they want you to download a link, that's probably the biggest red flag that you're going to see. So if you see that kind of link download, don't download the link and do a little bit of research. Like I said, first time I've ever seen it this morning, but here I go out on Google and I get that Melinda thing. So we'll just do that Google search one more time, and let's arrow back. So what was my Google search? So in the Google search, I typed, "This is Melinda and I'm a licensed photographer." And just that was quite enough to get me the water cooler phishing advisory, and also support.google.com. Is this link malware? So that was June 10th. So if they just started hitting WordPress for July, and so I'm showing this to you, but don't go click on that link. Do not do it. So another person said hard to tell if that was malware or not. But the fact that it's popping up on so many other people's websites, look at, so we're getting all these comments, so it's being seen by lots of other people. So that's the best indicator right there that, yeah, don't click that link at all. You don't, if it's going to go after your mobile devices or your desktop, don't click it. Do a little bit of research first. And, if this was a legitimate person, you would think they also would add their website in. Since they're most likely a website owner who says that you're ripping off their content from their website. So they would include a website address as well, where you could, more safely go take a look to see, oh yeah, that is an image that I snatched from somebody. So there we go. This is a shorter one today because I just wanted to get that advisory out there because it's the first time I've seen it, but it almost felt legitimate. And, that it was a possibility that one of my clients who were not doing regular maintenance for might have put something up that they shouldn't have. But after finding all this, I got back in touch with them. I said, you guys are all good. And I said, just clear back through your site. Make sure if there's any images you don't recall putting up, because they've got more than one person adding to their website. And I said, so if you come across anything like that, remove it or contact the photographer. Because also, when we import all of our stuff, when we import our photos to Lightroom, yeah, Ray, I actually did tell my clients. So this morning I sent out a blanket mail to all my clients on a blind carbon copy, and I've already been getting notes back in for them thanking me for the advisory. But so the one other thing, and this is how the AAA got in touch with me. Well, earlier in this video, I said AAA got in touch with me and licensed some of my images. And what they did is they had found my images and they had right-clicked to get info on my images. Whenever I upload anything to Lightroom, I put my copyright information into the EXIF data. It's got the date shot imported. It's got the date offloaded imported. All that information is embedded in my photos. So if you go to one of my websites and you right-click on one of my images and you do the get info, you're going to get the EXIF data. So you're going to find out the copyright is Rich Charpentier. That's built into my file. And also I had my contact information in there. So when they stumbled across my image and they liked the image, the reason they found me and gave me a phone call was because that information was in my EXIF data that I imported into Lightroom when I imported my images. So I always build that into all of my images. From the moment we get back from a shoot, all of my information is tacked on to that initial import. So I can say, hey, this was shot on this date. There's my copyright notification. I actually have a contact area in the EXIF data with our address so you can mail me, or with the phone number so that you can contact me direct, just like AAA did. All right, with that info wrapped up, I just wanted to get this one out there because as you can see, there wasn't a bunch of links to this particular scam, but so I wanted to advise folks who are on my channel and who are involved in photography and the drone flight and everything to be aware. Ooh, new scam trying to scare us. So best way that you can stay away from that scam is the fact that you know that everything that's going up on your website is your material, or is material that falls under fair use that you're allowed to use. So Go do a little reading on fair use and copyright if you need to, but it's pretty straightforward, especially if someone's trying to profit off of your work. We'll see you again soon. So at the latest, we'll see you on Monday for our next regular Monday live stream. And if anything else comes up between now and then, maybe you'll see another one. So good having you on, Roseanne, and good having you on again, Ray. Thanks for stopping in. I know several other people were in here as well. And as always, I appreciate everyone popping by here, liking and subscribing to the channel. Oh, and by the way, the launch of the new class has gone pretty well. It's down in the show notes below, so if you'd like to check out my new class on Ground Station Pro for autonomous drone flight, or you want to check out our drone construction progression reporting, or our Litchi for Business class, all the links with discount coupons are below in the show notes. So give them a click and check out some of the new classes that we've got here. Have an awesome weekend if I don't see you till Monday.